I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, back in here with yet one more video, joined today by a very special returning guest, Sam.
We back at it.
We back at it, bro.
Man, it's been too long, man.
Man, it's
what?
Way too long, bro. Way too long.
By though, man.
Yeah. Listen, man, we were planning on doing videos today, reacting to videos, and Sam came in here. He barged to the door and he said to me, "Dog, I think I'm a male hypergamous."
I'm free, y'all. I just had to come through. I had to come out.
Yeah, so he said he's gonna come out and talk about this. So I immediately I said, let's turn on the camera because I need to hear what conclusions that you have drawn. You know what I'm saying? So before we get started,
okay,
let's first define hypergamy.
Yeah, I think it's a good start.
Let's make sure we have the same baseline as we define it. You want to give your definition first? You want me to get mine?
I'll give my definition first. You know what I'm saying? I came through the door like I'm a hypergamous, and he looked at me like, I thought females can be hypergamous. Like that's kind of weird. So, anyways. Hypergamy, to me, is someone who wants to be part of a higher social status. Actually, by definition, I think it's married to a higher social status.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
And I think I choose my women. I like, women that are professional. I like women that, work out and things like that. I like stuff that are higher in a higher level.
Yeah. So
I'm attracted to that. Okay. So I'm like, yeah, hypergamy is the shit.
Here's the difference, Samuel.
Educate.
Let me try to describe the difference of what I see. There's levels to this shit.
Okay.
So what I think what you just described was having a certain amount of requirements. So you might have certain requirements that of things that you look towards that will keep you satisfied, will keep you happy. You don't want someone who's 150 pounds overweight.
Nope.
Right? You want someone that has her own purpose and are doing her things. But I think that the reason why that male athletes have groupies is because of another layer, and that other layer is hypergamy, and it's a different level. Because you are not necessarily going to deselect a young woman because she works at McDonald's.
But I will deselect her if she doesn't have what I consider as hyper or higher forms. So what are you talking about? We're talking about strictly athletes, talking about money? We're talking about monetary? See, because hypergamy to me is not strictly economics or social. It might be for a woman, but for a man, it could be she breaking me off on the regular, she make my life easier, whatever the case may be.
But according to your original definition, you said married into a higher class. What separates higher classes?
What separates higher classes? There's social dynamics, caste system, there's economics.
Yeah, economics.
No. There's literally within the same economic sphere, someone who made their money off of tech can be the same economics there. Some people had old money. There's systems within systems in sociology.
Yeah, but if you were to break down caste systems in a general sense of term, it's really specific to economics, right? So no matter what, if it's old money and you have $1 million in the bank, or your pops just hit the lotto and now you have now he has $1 million. You're still in that class of folks of $1 million of assets. Like it's still no matter how it was generated, you're still. If you're looking from a
strictly financial standpoint, and I think this is kind of like sort of capitalism, the kind of world we live in, right? We base everything off of economics and monetary. And there's systems that you can't even. So when I was stationed overseas, right?
Yeah.
There's systems that no matter how much money you are, you're not born into that family.
Yeah.
You're not one of them.
Yeah.
So to say that's a true statement across the board would be false.
So, but I think what you're doing is you're confusing wanting someone who's doper than the average thing that you used to mess with.
Let's look up the definition of hypergamy.
With a higher caste system, like a higher class.
Let's look up the definition of hypergamy.
A dude with $1 million. I'm
telling you, guys,
is a difference.
Has nothing to do with money or anything like that. Hypergamy. Let's look it up, because I feel like you're getting this information from you know, your experience through YouTube, the MGTOW, all that kind of stuff. But let's go to the definition of what hypergamy is.
I think you had to. I mean, we can Google it right now.
We need to Google it.
But I think you had to. I think
no. That was my interpretation.
When you define it as a caste, when you define it as like a layer of when it's a caste, it's a
or higher status. I should say status.
But what defines status? It's not that
it could change.
That she works out better than the last chick.
That could be a status for me.
It's money.
That literally could be like, listen, like she keeps it right, keeps
assets.
it tight. No, it's not. I think that's the biggest lie. And I think a lot of times, and we talk about other things that people adopt of a certain capitalistic nature, right? You know what I mean? Networking doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, in an economic way. We do it through social things. Socio is actually the societal ways of doing things. But I think we have a very rigid view of what this means through a capitalistic standpoint.
I think we have a rigid view because we're taking the actual definition of a caste.
We need the definition now. We need the definition. So,
but see,
let's pause it.
We don't need a definition on hypergamy. We need a definition on caste.
No. I don't. Okay, so let me stop right there. Let me take caste out of it.
But that's what you said.
No. So
okay.
Right. That was my.
So we're changing your operational definition.
No, I'm not changing the operational definition. I want the original definition. I was saying it from my interpretation, as in status. I want something that's I look for status. Status. All right. I use caste because I believe that's in the definition, but I want to make sure that we give the people. So you know what I mean. I don't like giving out fake information. You know what I mean. If we talk hypergamy, let's talk hypergamy. Yeah. Let's start with the definition.
Okay, but your definition is now not based off of caste; it's based off of status.
Well, I will revisit my definition once we get the basic definition.
All right, let's look it up. Hypergamy, the action of marrying a person of a superior caste or class.
So I was close.
Okay, how are you defining status different than caste? So I think we need a definition of caste.
We definitely do.
Each of the hereditary classes of Hindu society is distinguished by relative degrees of ritual purity or pollution and of social status.
So social status.
So how are you defining social status differently than financials?
So for men, I don't think we're looking necessarily at a provider from a woman.
Right.
Social status. So when I'm looking at a woman, I'm looking at someone who is compatible to help me increase my social status. That helps me reach that goal, right?
Got it.
So she takes me to a higher level. So when I'm like, I'm hypergamy, all right, she might be, you know what I mean, in the gym more than me, like keeping it right and keeps me motivated.
Pause right there though. Yeah. You said takes me to a higher level.
Correct.
Takes you to a higher level, not necessarily that she's a higher level. So that's what I'm saying. It's even coming out in your words.
Okay.
You don't care if she is on that higher level. You care if she takes you to that higher level.
Right. I'm a hypergamous, right? I'm looking for a higher level. I am seeking a higher level.
Okay.
Right? I'm not trying to go backwards with nobody. Not trying to go lower than anything.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
Men have what? Hypogamy. They have times where they're seeking lower levels. Like I'm just trying to hit, blah blah blah. That's some lower level ish. Like
what I heard you say in your words though is that you're looking for someone who can inevitably pour energy into you to help the upgrade process of yourself. But I don't know, that's different than saying that you're looking for someone at a higher social status. But if that's what you're saying, that you're looking for someone at a higher social status, define higher social status. Like, what do you look for in a woman that you feel is a higher social status?
A higher social status than myself. Oh, is that how we saying? Is that how we're defining it? I feel she's on a higher social status, that she's doing a higher social status.
Yeah, like how? What does that look like?
So for me, if she's, you know, one element that I like in ladies is that she has friends, right? Mm-hmm. Has a great environment where she talks stuff. She's, you know, personal, has a great group of friends with me. That to me is a higher social status. A woman that's all isolated and, you know, everybody is against me all in the world, we don't work out. Why? Mm-hmm. Because that means somebody else considers your relationship valuable. So if somebody else is saying you're valuable and you have more of that, sometimes, not all the times, but to me, that's saying, okay, you give to other people, they see you as valuable. And when you have that power, to me, that speaks to me because I want to be valued. I want you valued. I don't want somebody that nobody wants to deal with. Because why would I want to deal with her when nobody else wants to? So that's a major point sometimes when I'm thinking about, all right, is this chick gonna call me every day? She gonna be all up under me, whatever the case may be, because she's isolated. She doesn't have anybody else. But when she's valued by other people, that brings her value up and takes her to a higher status. Because there's parts about her that other people appreciate outside of just the female and male situation. Now, on a more, I say shallow level, a woman that keeps it right, that's nice, that works out, invests in her body, definitely looks good all the time, that just shows care. And she understands attraction. She understands how to bring out attraction. People look, again, this is higher, like, all right, I'm actually putting more time to make sure that I stand apart from other people.
Okay.
So if you're gonna do that with yourself, you're definitely gonna probably try to do that with me and push me to a higher level. Right? So those type of things, maybe. Unless she's all about herself and it's in a selfish, self-centered way and she's unapproachable with some other things.
Well, that's the thing is that, it's very subjective as opposed to hypergamy. To me, is very objective. Hypergamy to me is looking at numbers. Right, it's looking at.
But why do you start there?
Very defined, because I think the things that you're talking about is just looking for someone who's not a shithead. And when I say that, well, listen, it's a very, but that's what I'm saying. This is the difference between what you're describing and hypergamy, and it's because you have basic requirements to determine if she's worth a damn. That's different than what we see on the other side, which is why you don't see. Some of these Hollywood women with dudes all in their DMs, and then you see these Hollywood men with women all in their DMs, and time again. But
you can't, like, I don't consider a gold digger a hypergamous. Right? That's a very shallow thing. That's not higher level. That's just like, all right, you have an economic thing that I want and I need. I don't necessarily think that's a higher level.
That's hypergamy.
No, hypergamy is a social status. I think if you continue to look at it through the view of gold diggers and somebody trying to come up on somebody,
yes,
that is a very limited view. It's literally.
I think you're taking the definition and you're creating a male definition of it. Yeah, It doesn't have any gender with it. We just read it. A gold digger exists because of hypergamy, because of the biological nature to improve your class.
Hypergamy. So whether you're married into a family or kings and queens marrying families, hypergamy has always existed in the nature of humans to move up in the world.
Yes.
It's nothing to do with gold diggers or anything. That has nothing to do. People associate with that because they don't understand the word and the definition of where it comes from.
I think, if I'm meeting a young lady, I'm looking for the same things that you called out before.
Yeah.
And it's to determine, whether or not I feel like she's worth a damn. At the same time, though, I get deselected because of perceived value that I can contribute to her. Let me give you a real quick example. I was talking with a young lady recently, and she was having a conversation with someone, and she was talking about my Instagram, and then the second girl was looking at my friend's IG and was like, "Oh, I know him," and she was like, "I went on a date with him. It had to be like 2-3 years ago," and I'm like, "What?" Like, number one was weird that she remembered me, but anyway, as soon as she told me who the girl was, I was like, "Oh yeah, I do remember who she was." And she was like, girl number one was like, "Yo, so what happened with it?" I was just like, I just never contacted her after we met up for coffee. And girl number one was like, "Oh, well, she told me that she thought you didn't have a car, so she got disinterested with you." I've had a car since 18. So the thing is that it was at a coffee shop, and I think I told her that I walked there, which I did because it was right across the street. Because I don't like to travel for anything. I walked right across the street. Yeah, and I was at the coffee shop. Boom, it's
New York. He's like,
yeah. He's like, yeah. So, but anyway. In this chick's mind, I was deselected because she perceived me not to have a car. I would never deselect a woman because she doesn't have a car. It's a consideration, but it depends on like her goals, her ambitions, where she's going, and the reason. Like,
okay. Let's stop right there.
Okay, let's stop.
This basic woman, broad, whatever.
Yeah.
Her version of hypergamy.
You call her basic.
Yeah, because I think it's very basic.
She's a PhD. So
no. See, I think people want to add titles and make somebody. You can still be basic in other areas. Like PhDs. I mean, you can be smart in calculus, be dumb in a whole different subject matter.
Yeah.
So again, these general ideas, but rock with your boy, right? So her version of hypergamy is I am looking for the visual signs of success. Right, they call them dusties or whatever, and I call them dust bunnies because whatever you worry about dusties, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
She's looking for that status to tell her that you're on a higher level, right?
Yes.
So she chooses to view the car aspect. Oh, I don't think he has a car, therefore he's not on a higher level. Therefore, she turns me off on my hypergamy. That is a very basic shout, but it's still hypergamy. If it's something she values, she thinks a car is associated with, doing things or moving up in the world.
Yeah.
She didn't know that, I've had a car forever. She didn't take that time.
Yeah.
It's her loss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but she's still hypergamy.
Yes. Well, I think we're agreeing right here.
We agree. So let me even further expand upon that point.
Okay.
Hypergamy, the status of societal is on what society views and what you view and how your upbringing, what you view it is. So a person might say, my hypergamy is somebody who's in purpose, a musician. He could be broke, but if he's good in singing and things like that, something that's a higher level than me, or something I view as a higher level worth something.
Okay.
That's my hypergamy. So hypergamy is not necessarily a gender-related thing. It is a natural drive of human beings to want something higher than them more.
Okay.
And I'm a hypergamist. I'm gonna want something more. And if a woman comes to me and she wants something more, I understand that.
Let me ask you a question.
Now, it get twisted. Do you get Black China?
You would want something more outside. You want something more for yourself.
Correct.
Does that make you a hypergamist?
Hypergamist. But I guess where the actual hypergamy will come is
wanting it from someone else.
What did it say in the definition?
Well, no. It's wanting it from someone else.
Each of the hereditary class, blah blah blah.
If you want it on your own, it's just called drive and ambition.
Yes. Wanting it from someone else. Yes, I want. Yes, I'll say that because I'm ambitious on my own, but I would want something higher than myself out of somebody else. And your
definition of higher social status is someone that has a large network of dope people that has
that's for my personal
works out solid IG following.
No, pause. Wait, no. I don't do the IG following. I don't think that's actually. I think that's made up. I think it's media, social media people. It's media. I think that could be created.
So without getting too far off of the subject.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that a male hypergamous. So define a male hypergamous.
Because someone who seeks a higher level outside of themselves.
I'd argue the things that you're seeking is not like hypergamy. It's not like it's and I understand what you're saying. You're taking the definition of social status and you're bringing it to other things that can make a woman dope. I get it.
But I think it would be
those
everybody.
Are very subjective qualities to determine if someone is awesome, as opposed to on the flip side, there's a basic biological need for wanting your family to be provided and taken care of from a security perspective, from a financial economic perspective.
But
that goes into the creation of a self-driven man, because you need those basic minimum requirements. You need those leadership characteristics to even have access to the best ones.
Okay, so you had a whole lot in that whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
Right. You say to even have access to the best ones, you need those inner qualities. But what drives most people? Let's just start there. What drives you to be better?
I think personally, I have like this innate ambition to be in competition with myself, and I always try to one up myself.
And that just came out of nowhere. That's just innate.
I'll be honest. It came from my pops, just living and seeing how my pops lives.
So it came outside of you.
And well,
in societal.
Well, I don't know, because he was the same way growing up. with people around him.
But that's a society. So he's so my pops is a driven.
No, I think it's a combination of nature and nurture. I don't think that it's just but one or the other.
My question is,
there's
if I were to leave
that are born around very driven people that end up being shitheads. So I think it's a combination of both nature and nurture.
So I want to hint at this. Outside of you, you're saying that innately you are a driven person, innately. Without any other exposure to anything, you believe.
No, I just said it's nature as well. It's exposure to a lot of things.
Right.
So I just said it's nature and nurture. It's not innate. It's
okay. So it's
percentages.
Not
no, I said that. It's percentages of both nature and nurture. I can't give you an answer of how much of what I've been exposed to it enters my drive. I do know there's components that my pops instilled in me. I know it's kind of a competition of myself. I also know I'm not dumb. If I want to be a part of this dating game, I have to have basic resources to show value. And that just helps within the game. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about that. In this relationship, that's basically what we're talking about, right?
All right.
Monogamy, right? Hypergamy.
Yeah. Right?
The same sort of ending.
Yeah.
Right? So it's relationship. Right?
Keep going.
Monogamy, polygamy, so we're talking about in a relationship-based thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about individuals. That's a whole different conversation. We're talking about in the spectrum of relationships and what you want in a significant other. Would you call yourself a hypergamy, or would you say that you want something lower than yourself in a relationship?
No.
So you would be. You would be hypergamous.
So here's the thing. I don't care if she has a higher social status. I want her not to disable me from my purpose and my passion.
Okay.
I want her to pour energy into me.
Okay.
Right. Like, and there's women that's around me that don't make, financially not anywhere near as much money.
Why did you go automatically go to financial again?
Social. There was a comma.
Okay.
Doesn't have as many friends around me or anything, but there's something about their spirit that keeps me interested.
Okay.
Right. So and because of a spirit, and I can see within that spirit, there's positive things that you were saying before. I could see an upgrade. Me speaking to them about the situation and them being smart enough where they could try to upgrade.
That is part of your hypergamy. You and them. So say you got a conversation, dope conversation. Her spirit speaks to you, right?
But no,
but you're able to have that conversation and you enlightenment.
Here's why I disagree with you. It has nothing to do with social status or class or caste.
It does. And I think the status and caste part is the part that hang up on you.
That's the definition. But you're taking the definition and making shit up. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Bro, I'm not making shit up. I'm saying is society and caste, people want to go to a higher level, right? Okay. Caste is status. That's all it is. It's just a level. Something level higher.
I get it.
As very basic as it can be, right? I don't want you to talk about Indian caste.
I like her because, or I would like her because she would make my social status higher.
Or whatever societal, you would feel society status because you're talking to her, it elevates you.
But understand, I would like her because she would make me better. Not I like her because she's better than me. Those are two completely different things.
Oh my gosh. Listen.
Listen, how long are we going on?
Look.
All right, we have to cap off the video. We got to agree to disagree.
We're running back. I'm a hypergamous. I don't care what he's talking about and how he views it. I'm saying I want something better, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Listen, man, we gotta keep on having discussions like this.
Give us feedback.
Leave it down in the comments. You know what I'm saying? But this is what bros do. We can agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? But just go down in the comments. And, what do y'all think? Can dudes be hypergamous?
Yes. I don't understand. Why is it a gender thing? And why is it an economic thing? And why the hell are we over here talking about? I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Questions, comments, concerns. Leave them down in the description box down below. Till next time, YouTube. Peace! Oh, shit. Almost knocked that shit off the... Hold on.